Hello, Lucy Beckham, friends and family. Dean Stevens, Wake Up Carolina, with Tim McGuire, Wake Up Carolina. Just really honored and appreciative of being asked to take part in what we're doing today. And I've been with Wake Up for about 7 months. Tim, when did you start?
Uh, June of 2022. So I'm the senior program director is the actual job title. But so I'm over kind of any programs and services that happen in the Mount Pleasant office. So that means support groups. I help out with some different grants. The club that we have over at Lucy Beckham is something that when school's in session, I'm over there once a week on Tuesdays, 11:30 to 12:30. The overdose follow-ups for the town of Mount Pleasant. So that's another big component of what I do on a regular basis is fatal and non-fatal referrals through the overdose system, at-risk referrals, and behavioral health events. So those three main areas are kind of my focus.
As much as we'd love to be there to be able to answer questions, I'm thinking about some of the questions that teachers may have, right? So, if the teachers suspect or the teachers see a change in the behavior of a child or one of their students, the next right move is what?
So I think it's the language and the stigma is something that's changed a lot since I got sober in 2015, and as you know, something we try to work on at Wake Up and try to talk about openly to where we don't close the door on people. And try to approach them. I always try to leave the door cracked for someone that may be using substances because you never know when that pain threshold hits them and they want to change. And if they know the door's cracked, they'll walk through it, right? So it's like how can we keep that door cracked for them when they're ready to do it? Um, and so as far as like a teacher approach, it's trying to look at it through that lens about okay, how can I talk to this student? What's going on? How can I help? And then ask them some general questions. And if it's outside of your wheelhouse, which in most cases, a lot of teachers aren't trained on addiction or substance abuse or use or misuse. And so if you have something going on with a student, the best thing that could probably happen at Beckham is to really get with Miss Riley and have her kind of look into it. She can contact us if she needs some help on the referral standpoint, or if we can help meeting with the student and trying to have a conversation with them. Just because she has so much rapport with the student body, that would probably be the best route to take. But I think as far as conversations go, it's always trying to leave the door cracked for them to walk through.
You keep using the word referrals, and I want to make sure that people out there understand exactly what it is you're talking about.
hmm Yeah, so referrals can mean a lot of different things. Referrals can mean primary therapist. It can mean so it's recovery resources, right? So it could be referrals for a primary therapist. It could mean referrals for support groups that are in the local Mount Pleasant community. It can mean intensive outpatient programs that are in the Mount Pleasant community or surrounding areas, and just trying to help them understand like what those things are, what they can help with, and then what we can refer them into that would be beneficial for their overall recovery and wellness.
Referrals also um, means support groups for moms and dads, which we have, right? For
Yeah.
the support group for the young kids 14 to 19. So there's a lot of different ways, to go about that. And the cool thing about us is we're a phone call away,
Right.
and that phone call is usually answered or returned that same day.
Right. Right. So getting that information is um, something where we can help the whole family system. That's something we try to do at Wake Up outside of the club that happens once a week, is that we do have those resources, including mother's group, dad's group, and siblings group. That's for family members that have someone that may be struggling with substances. So we feel that if we help the entire family, the success rate is much higher.
Is there
But
one substance that is predominant right now in the community?
I mean, so going into the summer, we started hearing a lot more. What we're seeing in the young adult range in particular is psychedelics are on the rise. That's something that we've been hearing a lot for the past probably 6 months or so. Obviously, fentanyl is still there, and that's very dangerous. The death rate is outrageously high. The statistics on fentanyl are just crazy. So yes, that's still there in the community. I don't want people to think that that's not around, But what we're hearing more so in the young adult range is that psychedelics are definitely on the rise, whether it's the mushroom edibles that are easily accessible, whether it's the acid tabs that are being sold. And it just really depends on what's out there. But what we've been hearing the most here recently is the psychedelics. That part's scary. This is when you start hearing stories about people jumping out of windows, and that's not scare tactics. Like, I sat in a lot of rooms when I was younger, as a budding alcoholic, and I thought it was just scare tactics, and I wouldn't listen to any of it. But I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it happen to people. We've seen it happen at Wake Up. So the psychedelics is a scary kind of wheelhouse to start getting into with people that are in the high school age range.
And the THC, and that's, I mean, that whole game has changed, dramatically.
Yeah.
And simply because of the level of THC that's being found now, right? So back in my day, it was, in the single digit percentage wise of THC. And now it's, 45 all the way up to 60% THC. And it's, things that I hear and understand, and that is frying young people's brains. And that's
Yeah.
not scare tactic either.
No.
And that's from dads who are experiencing that with their kids.
Yeah, and I mean, in particular with edibles, they're getting 500 milligram, 1,000 milligram edibles, and if you don't have a tolerance built up to that, and you don't have the income where you can buy it at such a frequency that you can build a tolerance, and you take something that is that strong, what we're seeing is, panic attacks, again, psychosis, mobile crisis having to come out on scene. Uh, Sadly, some self-harm and some suicidal ideations kind of comes into play when these substances are in there, because there's no telling what is actually in it.
Well, I think the main point I really want to drive home, other than the appreciation of Beckham for allowing us to do this and wanting us to do this, because being proactive in this realm is so important today, I think. But again, just to let, especially the moms and the dads who may have fears, right, or have questions, that we're a phone call away. And the great part is that we believe in peer-to-peer support. We can connect you with a mom who's had a child with impact. We can connect you with a dad who's had impact. And as you and I know, those support groups mean everything to us. I'm not here without it. And I can't speak for you, but I know that when I got into recovery in '92 in this community, it was this community that kept me in the middle of the road.
And that is the goal. It's what we're here for. So any way that we can help, we want to, we're willing and able. So the more we can have these discussions, the more we can break down barriers for people to understand like what's really going on.